Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us today. This is Erin, and Erin is going to tell us and share a little bit about her business today. So, for starters, can you share a little bit about yourself and what inspired you to start your own business?
Yeah, my name is Erin and I own Eight Wellness Collective. I am a nutritionist and personal trainer, and I started this business in order to help people like myself navigate their health and wellness goals. I had struggled with my body composition, my mental health, and my physical well-being for decades, it seemed like, and finally hit a stride in 2018, 2019, and really found myself within a functional nutrition space, and it was mind-blowing to me. So I had taken my struggles and turned them into a place of power, and I wanted to offer that to other people. And so that is what I do with Eight Wellness Collective.
Nice, very good. How long have you been doing that? You said 2018, 2019?
So I started the business officially in 2020. So I had been in the fitness space for a long time personally, working out, doing all the diet stuff. But I had struggled for a long time and finally really dove into education in 2018 and hit the nail on the head. And when I realized how much easier it could be, I wanted to translate that to other people's lives as well.
Nice. 2020, that's a weird year to do all the things.
It was weird. Yeah.
In a half. That was probably a whole nother Zoom session right there.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it is.
Awesome. Okay, so what services do you offer and how would they benefit others? What are they kind of services are they receiving?
We're full on educational wellness. So what we want to do is not only get people to the body composition that they want, but also the mindset they want when it comes to their body, their size, their food, their mental health. We're not therapists, but I struggled for so long with that. And I was either over exercising and completely starving myself, or exactly the opposite. I wasn't in a good headspace mentally. I wasn't in a good place with my body. And so that's what we do. We do a lot of work we're kind of all over the age range, but primarily women 35 to 65 in that perimenopause and menopausal state. Fat loss becomes harder. Life is a lot more stressful. So we do a lot of work with fat loss resistance, stress management, and just overall living in a healthy capacity, which then translates to body composition change.
Okay, so I'm gonna throw this question out at you because it's not in our questions that we've already reviewed. Like, are you creating like nutritional plans, like a diet that of things you can eat and ideas or types of foods to go for, and then a workout plan that goes with that? Or how do you balance those two things together?
Yeah, we're the full gamut. So we do everything, but what I primarily work on is mindset. So we're figuring out the blocks that keep us from achieving our goals. Because you can Google a fitness plan, you can Google a meal plan. It's the follow through that's usually the problem. And so that's what we work on. But yeah, sometimes people get a meal plan, sometimes we're tracking macros, sometimes we're just working on eating a little bit more protein. Everything is super customized because we are navigating the individual lifestyle as opposed to just band-aiding with quote unquote eating healthier and exercise. Because we all know that everyone knows they should do that, but it doesn't just work. It's just not that simple.
Okay. And then is it like a package type of situation where you're like a 3 month follow or a 1 month follow, or is this like just an ongoing process that you kind of have clients that just keep coming back? Is it a kickstart or is it a long term?
It can be both. So we have longer term clients. Our general program duration is 12 to 24 months, but we start with 3.
Okay.
So usually we don't have a retention problem, which is good. People get in and they're really happy with it and continue to level up with their goals. But we do have some people come in that just kind of need a refresh, need a little education. So we have different program options at every different stage. So if you need more of an intensive overhaul of lifestyle, we have a one-on-one program, but then now we are also offering less intensive programs if you just want to kind of keep up with your movement and your meal plans and need some accountability there too. So it's designed to create a new lifestyle in a slightly more intense capacity, but then mellow out as you get more into the place that you want to be.
It becomes more of a routine, I'm assuming, at that point.
Correct.
That's
Yes.
cool.
Yeah.
And then I believe you're not local to Arizona, so I'm assuming that these are not necessarily in-person services, but it's stuff that you would do over a Zoom situation or online, or how do you guys communicate with your clients?
So I actually am in Arizona, but yeah, it's
Okay.
fully online. Yeah, I live in Williams,
Ah,
by Flagstaff.
okay, so that's just farther away. That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, one of my coaches is in Philadelphia. The other two actually are in Arizona, but we do everything online. I used to do in person, and we found that it was actually better for our client demographic to work in the online space because showing up at noon on a Tuesday sounds really great, but our lives are crazy. So like you need to pick up your kid or a meeting pops up or whatever. So we've developed a way to fit this into the weekly schedule as opposed to like the macro schedule. And online just works so much better.
That's cool. No, that's awesome. Okay, so we're going to shift gears just a little bit in the sense of, in your opinion, what is more valuable for entrepreneurs? Would you say a mentorship or a partnership?
This is a really good question. I liked this one, and I feel like it's kind of both. I have worked, I have a mentor right now, and he's invaluable to me. But the partnerships are huge too, and it's something I really have loved and been surprised about in the wellness space is we're very collaborative, and so we have chat threads that go through different coaches because not all of us have the same niche, right? And we're connected to each other. We can pass people off to somebody that might fit their needs a little bit better and vice versa. And so in that way, we're providing like the best level of service to the people reaching out, but also like we're supporting each other's businesses as well. And I've gotten a ton of like benefit from that, the connection, like as well as being able to get clients from it. But like for me, especially as an entrepreneur, it can feel really lonely. So having like those partnerships is invaluable to like staying sane as an entrepreneur, as well as like getting the word out about what we do.
Yeah, most definitely. I love that. And what pivots did you make before finding the right business idea? Because if you started that in like 2018, what were you doing before that that made you? I mean, I know we know your health journey, and that's part of what led you here, but you weren't doing that before 2018. So where did that pivot happen, and what took you there?
Well, I was actually in restaurant operations. So I was running a restaurant group and then the pandemic happened. So I was kind of dabbling in health and wellness. I wasn't really using it as a career. It was more like I was doing okay myself. I had friends that were like, "Can you help me out?" And so that's really where it started, is just like offering some tips or writing some meal plans or an exercise plan or whatever for friends or colleagues. And then 2020 hit and I didn't really have a job anymore. That I was able to keep my job, but it was morally for me, restaurants in the pandemic became really challenging and I just knew I had to get out. And so I resigned without a plan, which is very unlike me.
Uh,
um, and we, of course, didn't know how long that was going to last. And so I was like, well, it's fine. I'll just, I'll get my house in order and I'll get back to work somewhere else in a couple of months. Well, that's not really how that went down either. So I just started getting certifications. I got a personal training certification. I got like a nutritional certification, and then I got a master's nutritional certification. And like, so I just used that time to educate myself and slowly started taking on clients. And really the idea was just to make a little income until I got back to my career. And then all of a sudden this became my career. So it's been cool, but that is like, it was more of like a forced situation than a plan, but it's turned out great.
you were willing to roll with that, which was kind of cool. I feel like if you're not willing to roll with the punches that do come, because they're gonna come, if
Yeah,
you don't roll with them, you're gonna get taken down, and either you roll with it or you take it down. So that's
exactly.
pretty
Yeah,
cool. I love
exactly.
that. All right. So as a seasoned entrepreneur, what advice would you give a new female business owner? Like when you first started, did somebody, that might be another idea. Did somebody give you advice when you first began that you were like, oh my gosh, that was pivotal in helping me with my mindset or helping me with like how I'm going to pursue this? And how would you tell that to a new person?
I think the most important thing is to stay in your lane. It's really easy to compare yourself to other entrepreneurs and like I especially in my space, I'm 41. So there's a lot of people younger than me that that have really successful businesses. And that for me is hard to compare because for in my brain, like they've been doing it longer than me, but they're younger than me, and I could get lost in that forever. And that you can compare that to anything, but like it's a daily step forward as opposed to this like comparison of the future. Like I'm not going to go from, 0 to 6 figures overnight, but I will get there as long as I keep moving forward and not compare myself to the status of somebody else.
Yeah.
Another thing is like the social media comparisons are really hard. So being able to like put some blinders on and just speak to your people, because I found myself because my business is primarily online, so my marketing is all online, so it's easy to like watch what somebody else is doing and kind of model yourself towards them and then you find you're not actually talking to the people that you want to talk to. So like that I think would, if I were to go back, I would have listened a little bit more to my gut, compared myself less to other people, and just continued to speak my message. I think I would have it would have saved me a lot of sleepless nights, I believe, in this process.
Sure. And so how would you say that you found your people, if you will? How did you figure out where you felt like was your niche and you found those people that you wanted to run with and then to continue to grow those people? How did you find that, or what started you and kickstarted you in that?
I did really well by just being raw and honest and speaking my truth. And that's how my people found me. And it was anytime that I diverted from who I was
Mhm.
that I found myself working with people I didn't necessarily want to work with. So it was just like I talk about my struggles with mental health. I talk about how I was over consuming alcohol. I talk about like I show my like before pictures that I hid for years, and those are the vulnerable moments I think that like drew my people to me. And now we have conversations, or like somebody will hop in my DMs and be like, I feel like I'm like you were speaking about me.
Mhm.
And those are the people that like we work with the best because we have similar ideals, we have similar thought patterns. My mentor is the same. Like that's how I found him, was I was like, we are the same person. And it all like if you're trying to push it or trying to force it, it's just you're going to end up miserable. And so that's I'm just brutally honest, and that is kind of my business philosophy.
Awesome. So really figuring out who you want your audience to be ultimately, and then speaking to that. Because if you're speaking, like you said, as somebody else, they're drawing a different crowd for a reason, and that isn't going to be your ideal client.
Right.
That's
Yep.
awesome. I love that. Okay, cool. All right. What is next for you and your business? Do you find that you have paths you're moving forward to or new certifications you're trying to get? What's coming next?
Yeah, we are. We launched 2 new programs this year. My goal this year, honestly, is affordability for everyone that like wants to come into the space. It's really hard to afford extras these days, and one-on-one coaching, which is our flagship, is just because of the level of support, it's pricey. And so we've spent the last 6 months really redefining like like very strategic programming that we can offer at a lower price point, because I really just want people to find themselves and be healthy and happy and not have to like kill themselves financially to be able to get to that place. And so that's the future for me, is like figuring out the line between affordability and being able to offer the same level of service that I want to. And so that's like we're working on that right now, but I think that will be the future of the business, is being able to like offer a level of access to anybody who wants in.
Nice. I love that. That's really good. And then when you say do you have a few of you guys that are partnered together in this? Is this as you're collaborating for these different programs and then you run them? How does that work for you?
So I have a small team. I started the business, I'm the CEO, but I have 3 assistant coaches under me and one that's an assistant coach slash, like, we call her our client success manager, so she helps with support, and then my husband has a couple of clients as well. He's a nutrition coach also, but he has a full-time job, so he's very, very part-time helping us out.
Okay, very cool. I love that. And is there anything that we haven't talked about that you would like to share with the Hummingbird Network group, just in their audience? And what do we need to know that we haven't heard already?
We're talking to a bunch of entrepreneur ladies, right?
Yes,
Or
we
what at what level of acts like what level are or is everybody? Are we kind of like from starting business to successful business or
I'd say
where
we have the whole gamut. There's over 1,000 members in the Hummingbird Network. And so they range for, I mean, me personally, I sell skincare and I've been in that industry for the last 7.5 years. But I also just recently started a balloon business. And I'm just hitting my 1 year come August. So I think you have a huge range that kind of goes between everybody. Um, so yeah, you can hit anybody on that.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to be connected, and I think like this is beneficial for me as well. But I think just like understanding how important community is and finding a space for yourself, because like I said earlier, entrepreneurship is lonely. You feel like you're on an island a lot of the time. So the more, and I want to be more active within this community as well. But I think the more that you can be active with other, especially women entrepreneurs, that's huge because we deal with a lot of things that the male entrepreneurs don't, like weird DMs and like having to like think about the like will wear a top like this and I'm like, can I put an ad out with this shirt on? Like it's not fair, but it is part of it, so like connecting with other female entrepreneurs and doing whatever you can to support them is such a huge benefit to everybody. So I would say like if you're looking for anything, it's that like connect yourself with women who are like speaking the same story and have similar goals. Even if we have like similar businesses, we can always help each other out.
Yeah, kind of like you were saying in your network of the group that you're kind of part of, you're all healthcare providers, but you have your different niches. And where does that kind of align with you? And I love that. And even the mental side of it, you said that you kind of handle a lot of that mental side. And do you find that both the networking side of like knowing each other's businesses, but also having that social side where you're hanging out and getting to know each other interpersonally and not just always business driven, but socially driven as well? Do you find that there's a nice balance between those that help the mental state of that all?
Yeah, it's really nice to be able to have somebody to just shoot stuff off of. So, yeah, I mean, we like having those connections with other entrepreneurs in a similar space or just in general. Because, like, if you are not an entrepreneur, you don't understand the level of stress that we're going through. And I mean, it's not a flex, it just is. And so, having another friend to reach out to just be like, how did you navigate this situation? Or what do you think about this? It can leave you in a place where you have a lot more peace and calm. But like you said, the friendship part of it too is like it's nice to be in a similar space with somebody and not even talk about business, but like for me, I like to go out and have a margarita, but I don't go out and have seven. And if I'm working with another female business owner around my age, they're the same. We have shit to do in the morning. So like we can have that social time or even meet up and go on a walk or grab a cup of coffee or whatever. And it's in alignment with how I need to live my life and think about my next day, but also like gives me the opportunity to just like
Have
be
fun.
chill and have some friendship time as well, which is hugely important.
Yeah. And I think having a group, and I believe we've created that within the Hummingbird of where it's a safe spot in the sense that like if you're asking another peer, like, how did you do that? What is this? Or I have this idea, and you feel like it's a stupid idea, that there's not a stupid idea, that you can freely and comfortably be able to share those and not feel like you're the dumb entrepreneur over here and you're the smart entrepreneur, and how does that conflict? And so I think that's really cool about that.
No, it's so huge. Or even like we get fired up, right? Like if I have a client come in complaining, I will often go to my support group of other coaches and be like, how do I respond to this? Because my instinct is like to respond in a defensive capacity, which isn't helpful at all. So they can help with that too. And that is invaluable. Then like, okay, calm down. We're both in a place where we're heated. And this is, like we can get some other options for support and communication that are beneficial to the business as opposed to the heated version of us.
Yes. Oh, I love that. They talk you off the cliff a little bit. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, one of those social things coming up here, we are going to be meeting at Morning Glory Brunchery over in East Mesa. So if anybody's watching and wants to take on that social aspect of things, it's a great opportunity at 9:30 on next Tuesday, so a week from today. So that'll be really fun. And we'll have some more educational type of meetings coming up as well. And we'll hopefully be able to do those on Zoom or Facebook Live so that those that aren't currently present can still join us, which is awesome. All right. So before we wrap up, let's see. How can all of our ladies within our group get in touch with you and make connections with you?
Yeah, I'm on all of the social media sites. So I'm Coach Erin McDonald on Instagram and TikTok, and then Erin McDonald on Facebook. We have a massive Facebook community that we're giving away free health and wellness resources. We do trainings twice a week and they're live. And it's called Commit to Fit Simplified Fat Loss for Busy Adults.
Okay, and that's on Facebook specifically?
That's on Facebook.
Okay, say that one more time.
It's Commit to Fit Simplified Fat Loss for Busy Adults. And I can send the link too if anybody wants.
Yeah, that would be great. And maybe when we post this in our link, we can put some of those, maybe all your profile links. I can grab those from you.
Yeah.
Posted for you as well. All right, awesome. Well, then, thank you for joining us today, Erin. I really appreciate it.